Hey, Bubba. Oh, good news. Well, tell me. Shut up. You did? That's so great. No. Shut your mouth and listen for a minute. Getting up and going for a long walk outside is something. I've never been where you are, and no offense, but I hope I never get there. I don't ever want to be there. I don't have to be in the center of something in order to recognize and understand what that something is, what it means, and how it may affect somebody. Sure, at face value, yeah. All you did today was go on a walk. Whoop-de-doo. The rest was spent in bed, wasn't it? All the dishes need to be washed, the laundry that needs to be done, and the trash needs to be collected and thrown out. Don't look at it that way. Instead, think, dude, you got up out of bed, the very thing you've been stewing in for hours and upon hours. You got dressed in clean clothes and didn't look homeless for once, and walked outside to get fresh air and not whatever chemical warfare you've been marinating in. When does it end? Bubba, I know you're in a very dark place right now. And I'm going to try and help you with the absolute best of my abilities. Even if it means that you call me up any day or night and just cry. If you can call me up and blow off steam, I'm there. If you need to get your mind on something else and would rather hear one of my tangents or rants or something like that, fine by me. But listen, this is very important. Not every day will be a success, unfortunately. And I'm sorry to break it to you. Depression isn't something that just hops off at you after a small good deed. Sure, pick yourself up and keep going. But some days call for a slower speed than others. Some days require you to put whatever it is at the time down and come back to it tomorrow with a fresh mind and spirit and try again. Because if you take those moments that require a more gentle approach and you use a forceful hand, you'll end up disappointing yourself and end up right back where you started. You know, at that point, the only thing you've diminished is your hope of recovery. And do not confuse the two. The parts that require firmness and the parts that require gentleness. The gentleness is much easier to agree with than the firmness is. The firmness is uncomfortable. It makes things more difficult to handle. You almost feel like staying in the trenches is better. Sometimes you have to get uncomfortable first in order to get better. Whether that's returning to something old in your past. And you might have thought of something just then, as I said that. And the knowing that you need to do something that maybe you've been trying to avoid. The gentleness, however, is much more agreeable. But that's what's dangerous about it. It's being too gentle for too long. You start getting comfortable and throwing pity parties. You think you feel low now. Just imagine when you really don't have anyone, because you've driven them all away with being borderline obsessed with talking about your problems. Ain't nobody want to hear that. I mean, they're probably dealing with stuff too that you don't know about. And you're over here word vomiting out onto them. Behaviors like that push people away. Because I can guarantee you they're trying just as hard to get out of their mess as you are. They don't want to be met with more. Especially when it isn't even theirs. And don't be afraid to smile when you don't feel like it. Especially when you're not lying to anyone. You're not masking anything. You're just coaxing yourself. Sometimes you have to go through the motions of feeling something you don't. Talk about something good and happy, even when inside you feel like crying. We've all been there a time or two, Bubba. Even I have. But I know full well that doesn't make it any less than what it is. This is bad business. I understand that. It might feel as though this is how things will be forever. But it won't. You may feel like all hope is lost, but it ain't. Really, it ain't. You just have to keep on working on yourself and know when it's time to accept help. And that reminds me, don't go out looking for a romantic relationship thinking that's what you need, because it isn't. It isn't someone else's job to fix you the way you need to be fixed. You have to do that. I know that came out of nowhere and I'm sorry, but too many people think that all they need is someone to be romantic with. And that'll fix all the world's problems. It won't. It makes things worse. Because now you've emotionally involved someone into your already damaged emotions, and when they see that they can't fix you, they get all out of sorts. And now you're all out of sorts because they're out of sorts. And now you're hating yourself even more because it stems from a problem you have. They leave. Now you're even more damaged. And they're damaged too. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to hop on a tangent like that. But I'm serious. Wait until you are more stable before you start moving on to something that takes a full state of mind. Whether it be a relationship, a job, a big purchase, etc., etc. Something like that requires you to be mentally and emotionally healthy. And right now you ain't. Oh no, I'm not going to tell you when you're ready. That's for you to decide. You'll know when you're ready. I can only advise you on what to do. At the end of the day, it's all completely up to you. You're a big boy who can make his own decisions. I'm just a sidekick. Come here. You know, this won't last forever. I promise it won't. I'll keep you straight. when you need it most. But I can't do anything for you. This is your life. And as bad as it sounds, this is your mess. Nobody can get you out of this, or even help, without you doing your part too. I think you're doing a great job so far. But you know you're not there yet. And that's okay. It's okay to not be there yet. All I'm saying is don't get too comfortable down here. You have a life worth living.